Hello, viewers at home. It's good to have you on this program, Women's World. I'm Motola Adoka Ogundele. Today we are looking at something that is very, very vital. We are looking at the role of women in nation building. That's women and nation building. And I'm having a wonderful guest in the studio today, Mrs. Fumilayo Lovett Bamishare. She's a social commentator, a counselor. She's going to be telling us more that we need to know on this topic, women and nation building. You're welcome to this program, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you once again. And
My pleasure.
you've really been in our programs several times, and it's really impactful. So today we want to look at women and nation building. What is the role of women in nation building?
Oh, well, it goes beyond saying that women have their role, just like we have a role in bringing about new offspring. God has created man and woman for a purpose. And in nation building, it should be a collective responsibility of every living creature within an entity.
Okay.
And so, women have a vital role. And if you trace the history from time immemorial, they have always been playing an important role, providing support, right from the old front to the national level and even internationally.
Okay.
So it goes without say that women have a vital role in nation building. Yeah.
Okay. Before now, women have been placed at the home. You are either in the kitchen, taking care of the children and preparing food for your husband to come, cleaning the house. That was the role women were assigned to before now. So why suddenly we have a change?
We're assumed to be
the role of women, yeah.
Homekeepers, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure everyone know that the society have long evolved.
Yeah.
And that belongs to the dark age, even though that's not to say that women still don't have a role to play in the home front.
Okay.
But we have long gone past the era that one will say the place of a woman is in the home or in the kitchen. Women have taken the front line role in building the nation, politically, socially, economically. We have a lot of them in the political world who have performed outstandingly. I will give you example. Our late political icon, Mrs. Olufunmilayo Ransom Kuti, and then as well as some others in political position and appointments like the late Mrs. Akoyeli, Dora Akoyeli of blessed memory, and even currently your product, Mrs. Erelu Erewa Dabiri, you see, who is currently Abike Dabiri, who is currently the chairperson in charge of Nigeria in diaspora ministry, who is performing outstandingly well. I hope you remember she had always been in the National Assembly. I think she was a two-time senator, and she has had several other appointments. So what are we talking about? And I don't see any of these people found wanting in the home front. Their children are doing well in life. Their husbands are proud of them. They are doing outstandingly well. So what about the international scene too? Our famous one-time Minister of Finance, I think, Professor Mrs. Okonjo-Iweala, who is now sitting at the helm of affairs in the World Bank. Okay, we have long list of them. It actually is a countless list, So the role of women cannot be overemphasized in nation building, and we have long since gone beyond the mentality of the the idea that woman only belong to the kitchen
okay, or the other room.
or the other room. Indeed.
So, but how were they able to manage their home, or how are they managing their homes? Because we have a lot of challenges in our society these days. That we have a lot of people that are a lot of young ladies that supposed to have motherly role. They're
or
supposed
role
to have
models or
people
mentors.
that can mentor them, but we have them just doing nothing in the society, or let me say they're just wasting their time, because some of them, you have them into all kind of manner of things that they are not supposed
Vices.
to. Yes. We have some of them, baby mamas, they are not married, they are not even, they can't really tell.
They take pride in all those things.
Yeah.
You see, it would be wrong for us to only think that this affects the girl child alone.
Yes, it affects both.
The society itself,
because it's women's program, that's why we are concentrating on
it is important we pay attention to that, but let's not use that to deride the women folk alone, because our society generally have problem. There seem to be a dysfunction in the society these days, and that does not leave the girl child out of it. So as it's happening to the boy child, it's also happening to our girls. And we cannot put the blame at the doorstep of women alone, because it takes two to raise a child, or a community to also raise a child.
Yeah.
So the society has problem, is impacting on families, and the families problem is also rubbing off on the children we are raising nowadays. However, there is need for women to pay more attention to the home front, indeed, and to learn to balance their role as mothers and as members of the society, really. And that can be done from different angles.
Okay, let's get
Let's take, for instance, in the socialization of a child. You see, when a child is born, we are made to understand that the learning process begins from right from the fetus.
Home, yeah.
And then when the child even come to life, learning process starts from teaching a child how to suckle, okay, the breast, and then from crawling to things you put in your mouth, things how to even speak. Nowadays, most parents don't even teach their children to speak their mother tongue. That in itself is a problem, because a child who cannot speak his mother tongue, how will he know the values and the custom and the norms that is acceptable within that society, and to be able to carry the culture forward?
Yeah.
The culture of respect, of honesty, of dignity, and the rest of it, hard work, all these things are becoming fast eroded, because parents generally have left their role as the first or the primary mentor or educator of their children. Parents, both male and female, should go back to the roots, go back to the basics, becoming more involved in the raising of a child.
Well, it's going to be very difficult to manage, but when you look at it, you can't. Doing a house chores alone is a whole lot. It takes a whole lot of time. Talk less of managing something outside, being a professor, or being forging ahead to get more education. It takes a lot of time. So how do we balance it?
There are a lot of things that, in fact, except if you are not ready or determined or focused, that's when you can complain. In this modern time, we have professionals who help, who are child minders, who could help. And then when you are at home, you should put your feet down and monitor and manage those people. Okay, there are a lot of gadgets that also help you. You can be a sit-at-home mother and still advance your education, because we have various platforms where you can get training online.
Yeah, and you
so
can still
it's
be
not
doing a professional
excuse.
job,
Yes,
and still be monitoring what is happening. In the house, I guess so.
Yes. For example, you can invest in gadgets that will help you when you are not there, to monitor these young ones. While you pay for professionals to help you out where necessary, but you have to be on top of the game, employing various opportunities that abound. You should be involved in their social life. You see, these are things that we no longer pay attention to. We have allowed our young ones to assume the role of adult even when they are still underage. Okay? You have parents who cannot tell you the type of crowd or friends that their children
I think
keep.
some of them are young parents. Some maybe they just
Yes, that also is a factor.
Yeah.
That also is a factor. You know, as the society is evolving, it affects the family life. It also affects the children we raise within the society. So I think it is high time for everyone to look inwards and to make amends where necessary. Get involved in the life of the children. Don't focus on only your career. And it will also be wrong for you to focus on only the family and live your own life, because as a woman, you want to feel satisfied in life. You want to feel like you have actualized your vision. You see, so a woman, a modern day woman, should be able to balance every spheres of her life, including the home front.
Okay, can we hear some of the E's that are happening in the society? Because some of us might not really count it as something that are really important, or something that are really that we need to look into. We have some young ladies selling their organs, some young ladies giving birth freely at baby factory homes. So a lot of things happening. Let's hear some, so that people outside, they will, oh, this thing I'm doing is wrong, let me cut it, let me try to curb it and all this.
You see, as a social crusader, I focus more on the positives.
No, we should know about
of course we should. It is always in the news. A lot of things are happening. Unimaginable things. We start from drug use, harmful drug use, to pornography, to human trafficking, sex trafficking, to all sorts of vices, fraud, you know, money laundering and all sorts. They are all there.
The recent one is young ladies selling their organs.
I was shocked. I was surprised and shocked when I read that news. But you see, I took time to also read the details of the news, not just the caption. I found out that these are kids from decent homes. One is even a daughter of a GO. You know, the father is a clergy man. You see, so some things happen, really.
But are the parents aware of that?
Of course, they are not aware, but things happen. Things have always happened. But that's not to say that we'll not use that to generalize and condemn the mothers or the fathers. There are children who still go out of their ways, even when they have the full attention of the parents and all that, to get into things. We cannot rule that out. But when they happen, what next? What next? I think it is high time that parents pay more attention. Like I told you, some friends are not just friends. You see, we should create time to get involved in the activities of our young ones. We should create time to even have family time. You see, we should create a relationship as parents with the children, such that they will be free to carry us along in their daily activities. And for those who are so busy or who believe in putting their children in boarding school, they should also be familiar with the school, with the management, the matrons and patrons or whatever, you know, in these schools, such that from time to time we pay impromptu visits. We may not even have to see those children all the time, but sometimes you pay impromptu visits, so that you get first-hand information about what happens beyond arranged timetable. What I mean, the open days. Of course, the school will want to be at their best.
Yes, sir.
When they know parents are coming, they want to be at their best. But what about other days? What happens? I think it's very important. It's also important for parents to get involved in the planning of their school activities, you know, Any school that will not involve parents. That's why the day I learned that most schools don't even entertain PTA meetings with the parents, I felt like, okay, so what is the platform that they now use to interface with these parents? I learned some have adopted online, but let me tell you, you cannot take away the physical impact. I mean, the impact of physical engagement.
Yeah.
It is quite different. On camera, I may be doing something else, whereas on camera, I'll put up the best look, the best attitude. So I think there are certain things we may need to revisit in our school system, in our society, okay? So that...
How do we even get to this point? Because initially we have homes that is like a communal environment where I'm concerned about what is happening to your children. My neighbor can correct my children when I'm not around. But these days, things have, you can't talk to somebody else's child anyhow. You can't even the teachers in school, you can't beat somebody else's children. Yeah. Even the government has placed a law that you can't, in some states, that you can't beat children. They've ruled out beating of children or corporal punishment. Yeah. So how do we get to this point that things have really gone this way, that we are now feeling as if some things are not really okay for us any longer?
You see, like I said in the opening of this conversation, that the society is evolving. We have moved from the homogeneous society to a extra heterogeneous society, even to a global society. And as such, it comes with its own disadvantage, okay, and advantages also. For example, politically, in those days, you hardly touting, it's unheard of, or hooliganism is highly frowned at. But politics seem to have succeeded in recruiting our young ones into an army of hooligans and touts. And that in itself has impacted negatively on our social structure. Okay? There are people now who are political touts, professional political touts. You see,
others
not necessarily. They go around with politicians. They no longer pursue any meaningful career other than to follow politicians, to be political thugs and stuff, to see to it that people perpetuate power by all means. They have become political thugs, professionals. From time to time, different politicians employ their services or engage their services to advance their own cause. You see, then even the family structure is fast changing, you know, because in those days it is said that it takes two to bring a child into the world, but a whole community to raise that child up. You have said it also, that nowadays you dare not talk to another person's child, or you correct them or reprimand them. You see, our social structure has changed, and we can only make the best of it and make amends where necessary. And that is why I applaud media houses like yours, who are still, you know, try to produce programs that, you know, try to bring back these good memories, try to reignite that fire of familyhood, and reactivate a positive, you know, social programs that will educate the public and remind them of those things that are missing.
Now that you don't talk about this, the media, let's look at the social media, the influence of the social media in the lives of a lot of people.
I remember the outcry when a bill was proposed for to control the media, the social media platform, you know, in Nigeria. There was huge outcry that government now want to gag the people, you know, because we'll be looking at fundamental human rights for expression, you know. So it is a very dicey one. However, I still believe that government have a role to play, and government agencies in charge of, like NBC,
yeah.
have a role to play, and I'm sure necessary legislation is ongoing, and it is now a crime for you to just post anything or repost anything in the airwave, in the name of I'm on social media, because even years after, you may be called to answer for those crimes.
And that's what a lot of people don't even know.
And so a lot of awareness need to be created using platforms such as yours to let people know that, look, it's not everything you can do. You can't just go nude on social media in the name of it's my fundamental human right. You cannot just write anything about any public office. You cannot tell lie. You cannot propagate falsehood in the name of expression or your freedom of expression. You know, we need to create awareness, really.
Okay. So now, what is the way forward? We have a lot of ease in the society. We have a lot of things happening that, you're even scared of. You can't sleep with your two eyes closed any longer in the society because so many things are happening. And a lot of people say the woman's place is very, very vital. So now, what is the way forward?
Everyone has a role to play. The government, government agencies, non-governmental agencies, the educational system, you and I have a role to play. I think all hands must be on deck. We should all rise up to the occasion. We should all, at our various corners, initiate social transformation that will bring about the necessary change we are demanding for. Okay? Parents should be up on their game to ensure that the children they bring into the world, they are capable of raising responsible citizens within the society. Our educational system should be reviewed such that certain programs and subjects that have been expunged hitherto could be revisited or be reformed in a way that
history, I guess,
we bring the past that is useful, yes, to bear in the present, so that our system, our educational system, can be at its best. We shun out most current and relevant curriculum, and then socially our community also should come together, float programs, be involved, so that the society generally will be positively impacted, and those ills that we condemn would find their way out of our system gradually. It's a process, and we should trust the process. We should be involved in the process, and we should allow the process to evolve.
Okay, you are a strong woman. You are a counselor, you're a social communicator, and change agent. How did you get your drive?
I would say I have been very fortunate in life. Actually, I've been fortunate because I embraced education quite early, and I have been fortunate to come across mentors in various areas, and I'm a very open person to correction. I've been fortunate to have mentors, and I will advise every woman to aspire to gain more knowledge. It may not be in a formal setting, knowledge come in various forms, and thank God for our modern time. You have various means of getting more knowledge and training in various vocations. So self-development is also key, and also I pay attention to my nutrition. So all these have their own impact on the little I've achieved. I hope to achieve more.
Yeah, thank you so much. You've really spoken a lot. It's just that we don't have a lot of time at hand to really deal with some of these things. But before you go, what is your take to people at home?
We are in a festive season, and as such, I will advise every mother to please pay attention to their family, their children, their community. Let's be our brother's keeper, and more so, let's share love. It is important. Visit the correctional service near you. There are women there with babies. You know, there are individuals who just gave birth upon conviction, and you can't just take their baby away. Don't just limit the fund to your family. Learn to share and learn to extend love to your neighbor. Thank you so very much for having me.
Love to your neighbor. It's good to have you, ma.
My
and
pleasure.
It's good to have you too at home there. And learn to share once again, and learn to share, show love to people outside there. Until come away again on the same program next week. Bye bye.